Coming up on the Weekend Review, Marta gets a new big boss, Equifax signs off on a big settlement, and U.S. solar makers could get a big boost from new tariffs. All that, plus we look at how one group is helping refugee women find place, purpose, and friendship by hitting the great outdoors. This is WAB's Week in Review, the show where we look back at the last few days of stories from your WAB News team. I'm Alex Helmick, managing editor of WAB News. And later on today's show, the solar panel industry is trying to move production to the U.S., but it's been a rocky road.
Probably the biggest hindrance has been the constant change of our own policies.
That story coming up in minutes. First, though, Interim Marta General Manager and CEO Jonathan Hunt is getting the job on a permanent basis after leading the agency for the past year. WAB's Raul Bali reported from Thursday's Marta Board of Directors meeting.
Speaking after the vote, Board Chair Jennifer Ide says Hunt is getting a different set of marching orders as the permanent leader.
We need to take what we did for FIFA, and which was extraordinary, and make that the day-to-day experience of our riders.
Hunt says Marta leadership is going to take a much more collaborative approach going forward, including with the Amalgamated Transit Union, which represents some of Marta's workforce.
So I'm looking forward to bringing in all of our regional partners, our leadership team from the ATU, our leadership team within Marta, to begin crafting what the strategic plan is moving forward versus making quick promises day of.
Marta and Hunt still have to come to terms on a contract, which Ide says should include benchmarks for Hunt's compensation.
Success to me is that the jurisdictions are all feel like Marta is delivering on the promise to them and to their taxpayers. And a big part of that also is we've got to get our ridership up.
The agency faces a list of challenges, including implementation of new fare gates, launch of new rail cars, and questions about safety following a couple of high-profile crimes. Raul Bali, WABE News, Marta headquarters.
Well, the nation's largest credit bureau, Atlanta-based Equifax, has agreed to settle a class action lawsuit for $100 million. WABE's Jim Burris reported the case involves the miscalculation of some 4 million consumers' credit scores.
Equifax blames a technology glitch during a 3-week stretch in 2022 for the error. The Bureau says the blunder only involved consumers' numerical scores and not their actual credit information. In court filings, Equifax customers claim the agency failed to follow reasonable procedures to ensure accuracy. Equifax denies that. Since then, the Bureau says it's invested $3 billion for new security measures. The settlement is the largest ever under the Federal Fair Credit Reporting Act. Jim Burris, WABE News.
Georgia U.S. Senator Jon Ossoff and gubernatorial candidate Keisha Lance Bottoms, both Democrats, are running on a combined United for Georgia campaign, but their Republican counterparts you're less likely to see on the trail together. WABE's Melissa Fado explained.
Republican gubernatorial nominee Rick Jackson is eager to talk about his support for small and minority businesses, with Atlanta's Auburn Avenue as the backdrop. It's a neighborhood rich with Black history. A reporter asks Jackson if there's a reason he and Congressman Mike Collins, who's running for the Senate, haven't stumped together. Jackson says he's focused on his campaign, and he added this.
No, there's no room for racism or bigotry, period.
His answer sounds pointed, especially in the context of Collins' ongoing controversy. Several weeks ago, online clips surfaced of his son-in-law promoting anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and white nationalism. Collins previously told WABE no one speaks for him and that his son-in-law is not involved in his campaign. During a rally in Augusta this week, Collins hit on several issues, from data centers to democratic socialism, and how he and Jackson will use their business backgrounds to claim victory.
If you take a look at the Republican ticket here that we're running, we're a unified ticket.
But unified might look different for Georgia's Republicans versus its Democrats. Melissa Fato, WABE News.
As Fulton County looks to purchase another building to increase jail capacity, the existing facility on Rice Street still needs to be properly staffed. WABE's Shemaine Cruz told us about it.
This week, Sheriff Patrick Labatt welcomed 19 new sheriff's deputies, what he says is the largest graduating class since he took office in 2021. A spokesperson for Labatt's office told WABE that they'll immediately be assigned to the troubled Fulton County Jail, where the U.S. Department of Justice determined conditions were unconstitutional. The DOJ recommended the county use recruiting firm Walls Group to staff up. But Labatt said this during a recent community town hall meeting.
The facts are, the Board of Commissioners voted to bring somebody in to do our business.
Fulton County commissioners have expressed frustration over allegations that Labatt has interfered with Walls' hiring, leading to fewer recruits than expected. Shemaine Cruz, WABE News.
Atlanta Technical College is getting started on a $30 million expansion to address the growing needs of Georgia's economy. WABE's Marlon Hyde had more.
The Henry Louis Hank Aaron Academic Complex will undergo a historic makeover.
But it's more than bricks, steel, glass, and paint.
That's Victoria Seals, the president of Atlanta Technical College. The state funding will expand student services while supporting new centers for advanced manufacturing, artificial intelligence, film, and media production. This includes a new soundstage named after broadcasting pioneer Billy Aaron, Hank Aaron's wife.
This space will honor the space that she took up in rooms that may not have always welcomed her. So I want our students to be inspired to take up that space.
Aaron and her late husband, one of baseball's and the Atlanta Braves' most iconic figures, have long supported the college. She says she's grateful to see her family's work to grow educational opportunities beyond it.
We are only interested in having our children be successful in their way up the ladder. On their way up the ladder, they need our help. They can't do it alone.
College officials say the expansion positions them to train the next generation of Georgia's workforce as Atlanta Technical College celebrates its 60th anniversary. Marlon Hyde, WABE News.
Well, the Trump administration plans to levy new tariffs on the key ingredient in solar panels beginning later this year. It's a move expected to help U.S. solar makers, including Q-Cells, which recently expanded production at its two giant factories in Georgia. As WABE's Emily Jones reported, the expansion and the new tariffs are both part of the ongoing effort to bring solar manufacturing back to the U.S.
Inside the vast Q-Cells factory in Cartersville, Georgia, workers and a bevy of robots move ultra-thin slices of polysilicon through machines and chemical baths to get what are known as wafers ready to become solar panels.
They're rinsing and etching and rinsing and etching, going just all the way down this line to create, the absolutely perfect surface.
Scott Bell with Q-Cells says the perfect surface for these wafers is one that's really good at soaking up sunlight.
It's just a giant chemistry class where we're trying to create this unique circumstance where an electron pops off of light.
Bell says making it here in Georgia is a big deal. Korea-based Q-Cells made a huge investment to bring this whole supply chain to the U.S.
The $2.5 billion, the 3.5 million gallons of water, the 90 megawatts of power, the 60 tons of chemicals on site, and all of the football fields worth of infrastructure you've seen is to arrive at this.
It's the basic building block of a solar panel. For years, solar manufacturing in the U.S. has mostly been assembling panels using wafers made overseas. That's what Q-Cell's other Georgia factory in Dalton has done since 2018. But as of this June, this factory has moved the whole process under one roof.
Having the full supply chain is critical.
Ben Damiani is a solar manufacturing expert. He's now chief technology officer at Atlanta-based solar developer Cherry Street Energy. He says China has dominated solar panel manufacturing since the 2010s, flooding the global market with far cheaper panels than anyone else can make. For a host of reasons, national security, labor practices, job creation, the U.S. is trying to bring back domestic production. But Damiani says that hasn't been a smooth road.
Probably the biggest hindrance has been the constant change of our own policies.
The Biden administration took a carrot approach to attracting solar panel makers. The 2022 Inflation Reduction Act included tax credit bonuses for solar projects that used U.S.-made panels. Q-Cells has said those incentives were a major reason they built their Cartersville plant. The Trump administration is taking a stick approach. Last year's One Big Beautiful Bill Act revoked the tax credit bonuses, but it also made solar equipment from certain countries, including China, ineligible for the tax credits that remain. That, along with the new tariffs, could help a U.S. manufacturer like Q-Cells compete with cheaper Chinese imports. Researcher Coco Zhang of the banking and investment firm ING says the policies have the same goal, but it's been whiplash for companies.
Any business, including the clean energy industry, they like consistency, they like predictability.
Q-Cells, a South Korean firm that's now moved its whole supply chain to Georgia, is likely to be able to comply with the new rules, Zhang said. Other companies could even follow its model. But that model required a multi-billion-dollar investment in a brand new facility that took more than 3 years to come online. That can be a tough sell when solar policy could completely change again. Emily Jones, WABE News, Cartersville.
This story is part of a partnership with Grist. You're listening to WAB's Week in Review with me, Alex Helmick. For the thousands of refugees resettled to Georgia, a 3-month sprint of government-guided initiatives is designed to make the Peach State home. But that's often not enough. So one Metro Atlanta nonprofit found another way to help people settle in by bringing refugee women outside. WAB's Emily Wu Pearson had the story.
Janina Edwards prepares a group of women for a kayaking trip.
When you hold your paddle, you want to make sure your knuckles are in line with the blade.
For many, it's the first time they've paddled down a river. Edwards is with the nonprofit Georgia Rivers.
Think about if you're scooping some food or something, you want it towards you.
She holds up a kayak paddle in front of the circle of more than 20 women, just near the bank of Ewerly Creek in northwest Georgia. Diesel trucks pull through the gravel lot, and dozens of people with kayaks, canoes, and tubes unload and head down to the creek.
And in any stroke, it's going to have 3 parts. We're going to catch the water. Imagine I'm in a boat. I'm catching the water, I follow through, and I release.
The women are with the nonprofit Refugee Women's Network's outdoor wellness program, designed to help resettled refugee women build a sense of freedom and inner strength through Georgia's abundant natural features. Today's featured feature, the Etowah River.
I never thought that I would do one day because I kind of scared of water.
Mujja Oryakil joins a small group of women basking in the sun on a pile of rocks protruding from the middle of the Etowah.
And I always thought that, no, this is not something that I would do or I can do, But today I really came over to my fairs and I did paddling for the first time.
Oryakil resettled to Clarkston from Afghanistan 12 years ago. She and her husband came on a special visa for people who worked with the U.S. military. She says outings like this are an opportunity for women to take time for themselves.
Between doing everything for your family, for your community, for for your neighborhood, you also can have some time for yourself to have fun and have some days for you, like today that we are all doing here.
Yes. Wad perch. Wad perch. You got a skinny nose.
We tend to stereotype what refugee women can do.
Temple Moore built the program in 2021.
We see them cooking and caring for kids, and there is no limit to what these women can do.
She started out leading hikes for refugee women. Over the years, Moore, whose background is in public health, has surveyed the hundreds of refugee women who participated in outdoor wellness trips like this one. She found being outside had positive outcomes for women's self-image and mental health.
In Georgia, a lot of us have found strength in what nature can do, and nature is a healer, and everyone deserves that.
Her surveys have found women's sense of personal strength increased markedly, with agreement or strong agreement with the statement, "I am strong," rising from 42% at the start of the program to 92% post-program.
These women don't need power. They have the power. We just have to take away those barriers, make them feel connected, and capable. And you know, it's an easy lift because there's a lot of courage and a lot of strength here. And when you have a team and a sisterhood, we can do amazing things.
The women back paddle their kayaks and pivot to face Janina Edwards, who just helped everyone navigate shoals.
Congratulations, you survived that, number one. So we talked about those strokes on land. You had to use them on a terror situation. Now we got the open river.
Over the course of the morning, the women follow Uwerley Creek to the Etowah, paddling about 6 miles total. Conversations in Farsi, Somali, English, and other languages mix with the woman's laughter, trilling birds, and even the moos of cows. I caught up with Mujda Oryakil toward the end of the trip. She says she never would have had the opportunity to paddle in Afghanistan because of societal views of women there.
So this gave us like a lot of good feelings, you know, that as a woman, I'm able to do whatever I want, you know. I can remind my childhood, I can remember and be excited like a girl again.
She says after the paddle, she feels welcome in these outdoor spaces, and she can't wait to bring her family here, too. Emily Wu Pearson, WABE News, the Etowah River.
That's all for the show this week. My thanks to the WABE News team for all the great work. You can find more at WABE.org. I'm Alex Helmick. Thank you for supporting WABE News and listening to The Week in Review.